Hello, everyone. Welcome to the TRI's Crypto Countdown, TRI's Top 100 Crypto Review, TRI's hanging out with Derek and hello, Ben. Everyone. And Nick, but no Nick tonight. Anyway, hi guys, how you doing? Welcome back.
Doing good.
Hello. We got Ben on the call tonight. I think Ben, did you say hello? I don't know whether you did. I don't know which one it was. Was that you? All right.
Yeah.
Ben's here from the great state of Florida. He's got the lights on tonight. Actually, I can see him tonight, so it's kind of cool. I've got actually, I'm not even quite sure what I'm recording, but FYI for you people over on YouTube. How does this? Oh, I think I've. Oh boy, maybe I broke my computer. Oh, there we go. I've got us hanging out here in a hangout. There I am with my cohorts, my trading partners. These are my trading partners. And there's Derek and there's Ben. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Nick is in the great state of moving. But I think he's somewhere halfway between New Mexico and Minnesota. So good luck, Nick. We use the force. Hearing a lot of people talking about his Cosmo. Cosmo? Is that what it is? I think that's what he's big on, right?
Yeah, he likes to add them.
And what's the other? Polygon, right? I heard another person making a reference to that Polygon recently. And Andrew's telling me that his time is just killing it. And I think the AVE, is that it? AVAX? What's that called?
I think that's Avalanche. Yeah.
Avalanche. That thing just keeps avalanching away, right? I think it made another new high today. So, I get the impression there's some parts of crypto that just don't give a fuck about Bitcoin. Who cares about Bitcoin, do you? You go to that's okay boomer crypto.
It feels that way for sure. Yeah.
Doesn't it feel that way? Kind of feels like Danny, right? I mean, Danny, that's new. That's next gen crypto.
I think it's DGen.
DGen. Well, I didn't say that. I think that's what it did. I think he has like tattoos on his knuckles, right? I think. Have you seen the tattoos he has on his knuckles? I suppose that would be DGen. Hell, DGen, we just turned on my camera. I live in my TRI uniform. I literally got this, it was so cool. We had this TRI meetup a few years ago, and oh, look at that, I got a stain. Just. I live in this TRI uniform, I swear. Andrew's probably like, God, that guy never takes that damn thing off. Now that's crypto DGen. Anyway, welcome back to the Frivolity, everyone. Not quite sure. I even asked the boys if they wanted to meet with me. I don't know whether it's I'm feeling kind of out of place in this DeFi world, but I'm just wondering what my role still is here. But both of the boys are like, yeah, I totally want to meet. Yeah, I have a lot of fun getting together. So I must be saying something of value to these guys. I don't know, but. We don't have Nick in charge, so who wants to be sort of the, I guess, the head here? Who wants to lead us? Derek, do you feel like leading us? Ben, you want to lead us? Who wants to lead us here tonight? Does
Teamwork
Nick lead us?
Makes the dream work.
It's a what? Huh?
Teamwork makes the dream work.
There you go. Somebody's got to run the webpage. Isn't it Nick who types all the stuff in on the webpage here, or on the spreadsheet? Somebody does. Anyway, whoever did before, please continue to do so tonight. It looks, speaking of pretty damn good market prognosticator, so it looks like Nick and I were right this week, so that's encouraging. Derek, did you abstain from voting? Is that what happened?
No, I was missing in action.
Oh yeah, you were MIA, right? Actually, maybe we should just put MIA. So that gives you an excuse. And Ben was looking like a genius a while ago there. He caught the bull wave, but now I guess you're giving some of those gains back, eh?
Yeah, I thought I could do it twice, but
nope.
Nope.
That's all right. And if anything, I think Nick, the only reason why he was the The only reason why he joined me on the bear side was because it was working well to hedge his portfolio, right? I'll publicly say bear, but really secretly I want it to go up. So then that way he wins both ways. Oh, well. I suppose we'll chime in at the end of our frivolity here tonight, and sort of come up with our grand prognostications of what we think is coming in the days and weeks ahead. But I don't know. Where do you feel like taking this conversation tonight? Has anybody got something pressing on their mind you wouldn't mind talking about? Oh, look at that! Somebody's got some stuff over on YouTube. Wow, look at this. Tony H is actually bullet pointing us. Jeez, we got a homework assignment here. All right, so he said, unfortunately, I can't stay and watch live. The kids need to get ready for bed. I have a few questions that might be beneficial for some. All right. Where were you the night of... Oh, wait. I'm not going to say anything that's going to incriminate myself here. Derek liked that one. That's good. I put a smile on Derek's face. All right. He says, number one, if you look at the 2-week chart BTC USD on Stamp, it's interesting in relation to prior cycles. 2 peak cycle. Okay. Adam says he always loves the commentary. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate it. Hope. Are you Adam and Sherry, Adam? I don't know whether you are. If you are, I hope she's doing well these days. Rich says, I want to pound the table, Brian. All right. What are you pounding the table on? What do you like? Anything you guys have been working in the education program long enough. Anything that jumps out at you guys that you really like? I'm talking to you two. Hello, Ben, Derek.
Yeah, I know.
How about options trades? Derek's now Mr. Options Trader.
Yeah, I haven't been. I guess I've sort of this last couple of weeks. I kind of been playing around with. I'm really into Hedera, right? And so Hedera's had these Hedera hash graph. So
okay.
H bar. Not so much from a trading perspective, but I guess they're starting. Once again, they're on the bandwagon of NFTs, so they have all these NFTs that are some projects have come from Ethereum and that type of thing. So I've gotten in all these discords and been trying to, I don't know, get more involved and try to get an understanding of what's going on there. So that's kind of where I've been spending a lot of my time lately.
So do you buy this whole NFTs actually have some sort of intrinsic value?
I mean, I think if you can, I mean, from a artist standpoint, right? If you're an artist or you're, a creator, I think they can have some value, especially at the way where the things I'm kind of looking at. And, but yeah, I do think they have value. I think if the NFT game plays out, it's definitely going to be a good way for them to communicate with their audience and to actually be able to maybe create value that way, as opposed to maybe having to go through like a third party to do it. Right. And so that's kind of where I can see the value. I mean, I like,
Snoop Doggy Dogg is supposed to be doing the music at the Super Bowl this year, right? That's what I heard today. And we are all going to get NFT blitzed out the UU through all that.
Yeah. that I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I mean, in terms of, I don't know, it seems like when you start getting celebrities like really promoting a lot of these things, I think they become a little bit gimmicky, right? But I do think some of the more ground roots sort of projects that come up with those seem like they're kind of adding value to the space and bringing more people in, right? People that are interested in the same.
But I could see some sort of collaborative music label, Gene Simmons and all his Kiss minions, all buying those NFTs, and if they're all linked to all the songs, then Gene's gonna love that economics. He cuts the record producers right out of the equation, and then maybe Snoop Doggy Dogg's on the same sort of Allen label. I think they're all hip deep in Doge. Is Doge trying to do the NFT thing?
I don't think I've seen any of the Doge. I don't think I've seen any Doge NFT stuff. I want to say Shiba Inu is doing some of that stuff, or they're definitely putting their meme everywhere. They're printing their meme everywhere and trying to get involved with a lot of different things. But I'm
Yeah.
not quite sure about Doge.
And it just goes to show how much money is just pouring into this space. You know, anybody who, I guess, was that Shiba, was it an airdrop? Like, did people actually get airdropped a big whack, or did they actually have to buy the actual coins? Like, did it get forked off of something else?
Was that the one that Vitalik got a big airdrop?
Yeah.
And
You
gave it away?
remember that? Yeah, and then
Yeah.
and it'd be interesting. He donated a gazillion coins at like nothing.
Mhm.
So I'd be curious to see whether that charity even held on to any of them. And now that charity's
Yeah.
probably worth more than the United States of America. You know? Who knows? I doubt they held on to it, but who knows, eh? I got the space heater's too hot. Wow, that's crazy. Usually I'm freezing my butt off in here. Anyway, so that's a good sign. You boys are making me hot talking all this DeFi. Woohoo! Speaking of which, is it starting to snow in either your neck of the woods? Does it snow in Maryland?
Yeah, it does, but it's not yet. Typically, if it snows, we might see some in December, January, maybe
the
late
winter, right?
early February. Yeah, not now though. It's
Yeah.
roughly in the morning it's about 40, and the even and it gets up to still getting up to about 50, 55 degrees on the day. So it's not yet.
Well, that's nice. And of course, you just have to worry about the frozen concentrated orange juice market catching a early frost up there in Florida. Are you in northern Florida or southern Florida?
I'm in northern. Yeah.
Northern, yeah. So yeah, that's the orange juice growing state. Great movie if you're interested. If you're watching this and you like Trader Talk, movie in the early 1980s called Trading Places, with Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy, about the frozen concentrated orange juice market. Really good movie. Do yourself a favor and watch that. All right, so what do you guys make of like I had said earlier, some of these cryptocurrencies, you wouldn't even know that the Bitcoin was even sort of floundering, or Ethereum itself, eh? Which ones am I thinking about in particular? There was one that I put a chart out today, and I'm so stupid with all these. I don't even really know them. And people were like, yeah, duh, Brian, that thing's going crazy recently. What the hell was it?
Was it Avalanche?
Yeah, the AVAX. I think this is
Mhm.
it. I was just really surprised. Yeah, I don't know whether we did this right up for this show. Really good example of a trade setup that I used to prop trade. Pretty reliable, pretty consistent. And it just keeps powering to new highs, so it made it. Am I screen sharing? Can you guys see my screen? Oh, yeah, okay, good. It just keeps powering to new highs. I don't know what this is. AVAX. This is DeFi, right? This is the DeFi. Am I not mistaken?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like a is it a layer 2 sort of solution, like a Ethereum kind of. Like I know you can like port your Ethereum coins over and start swapping them and DeFi and all that kind of fun stuff, and staking
Yeah.
and farming and
Yeah, so I guess technically it'd be considered a layer one, which is like a
Yeah.
Ethereum competitor.
Like, if I understand correctly, Time is on this network, right? And I think that's half the reason why it's doing pretty well. Is Danny is still very,
That makes
very
sense.
much in the
Kind of
hot.
you're investing. I guess people feel like they're investing in the infrastructure, right? The infrastructure of maybe time and all that.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, I think probably what ends up happening is as you just keep adding more and more and more projects, the prices of these assets just keep going up and up and up and up. And then
Well, I
once you
wonder-
sort of hit sort of a critical mass, and it's just like the market is saturated. I don't know whether you guys were in the space in 17, 18, but I remember that summer. It was remarkable. Everybody was going around. I got this great idea. DeFi, or not DeFi, but crypto. I got this great idea. But then you'd say, okay, so what are the economics? How does it work? And it's like, well, I don't know. We haven't figured that out yet. kind of conversation. I don't think we're quite at that stage just yet. I think there's still enough sort of inertia of products that actually are doing things. But once we get into that stage of sort of just pitching ideas of what you can do, but not really actually doing anything, I think that's probably the end of the run. And I like that kind of narrative all around the Super Bowl, right? Where we just, like, wasn't there Crypto.com just announced that they were going to rebrand one of these big sports stadiums.
Oh, yeah.
With their name. Absolute perfect example, right? And I was telling everybody on the site in the Daily Brief this today that that's a really, really good example. I remember all the telephone companies in the dot-com boom, they all started to rebrand these sports stadiums after their names right at the top of the market when they were stinking rich. Stock prices were through the roof. Executives were, super arrogant, full of themselves. They're blowing money on frivolous advertising. Great sign of a top. So I don't know when that officially happens or when it takes place, but it is a good anecdote of the end of the run, not the beginning, I think. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that CRO made us a bunch of money today.
But there was actually some news on AVAX, and that was, I guess they had some type of partnership announced with Deloitte.
Oh, even better, an accounting firm?
Yeah, so I guess they
sexy.
Some type of partnership where they're going to be offering some sort of, I guess, disaster relief for more efficient disaster relief. I don't know. Well, here it says. I'll tell you exactly what it says. It says Avalanche founder and Ava Labs CEO Eamon Goon. Tuesday, his company will be partnering with Big Four accounting firm Deloitte to build more efficient disaster relief platforms using a Avalanche blockchain. So.
Right on. That's cool. I mean, that kind of news doesn't hurt, and it's sort of feeds the fire. Like we were doing the Google searches and stuff like that, right? We'll know that crypto's at an end when those, and what do they look like? Crypto search trends? I think that's what it is.
Oh no, it's trends.google.com. Yeah.
Oh, and there even is a website.
yeah, trends.google.com. That's what I keep.
Remember, I'm not that smart at this stuff, right? Trends at
trends dot
Google
dot com
/ cool dude. Sorry, stupid. Okay, crypto. Let's just. This will be your tell if we're anywhere near a top. I don't think so. It's interesting. We got a bit of a, there was our May peak, that spring peak. Got a little bit of a top. Certainly nothing anywhere sort of euphorically near it. This might be skewed sort of.
I think you can change.
Look at all the Shiba
change
references.
The region or something like that too.
Yeah, maybe this is just sort of like...
see on the top left where it says Canada, you might want to change that to...
Yeah, silly Canadians. Always getting into trouble, I swear.
Okay,
so there you go. Much. Netherlands. Isn't that interesting? It's funny, actually, last cycle, man, we used to have so much fun with the Dutch coins. It's weird how there is no national personality with these cryptocurrencies this time. But I remember we had so much fun with the Dutch coins, like this new Gilden. This was a great one. It's just so much fun. Let's see what it's doing. Oh, it's trying to come alive here. See, I think the actual end of this market will be this. They'll look like this, eh? See how this is May, June, right? Remember when dog money was going nuts and all that? So I think the end of the move looks something like this. Maybe we're kind of in this phase right now here. And I could see us kind of muddling along for, 2 or 3 months. And like I said, into that crazy January, February window, we might have just absolute insanity here. But I remember these Dutch coins. They were so much fun. There was this one. Then there was, oh, God. Who can remember the Dutch coins? I know you've been in crypto a while if you can remember the Dutch coins. You remember the Dutch coins, Ben?
No,
I have no recognition of recognition of.
There was like 3 or 4 of them. I remember NLG was one of them, and I think there was another one started with an F, if I remember correctly. Anyway,
I have an Avalanche
Avalanche.
coin, it would be great to have you maybe to take a look at. It's one of their exchange solutions called Pangolin. Have you heard of that?
Symbol?
PNG.
PNG. Pangolin, Tether. Whoa, look at all this. Pangolin. It's all on the Pangolin exchange?
Yeah, it's an exchange powered by Avalanche. Like a decentralized.
Okay. Avalanche is the stuff that they use to do all the ledger transaction? That's probably not the right word. Anyway, let's see what you got here. Well, it's not bad.
No,
you know,
right.
Brian, he likes
if it runs on Avalanche, and Avalanche is taking care of all the transactions and all that stuff, it's running, in terms of ledger wise, right?
You know me, and crazy old W's. So there to there. Kind of cool, there's our sort of reload zone range. This is a really good one for like day traders, futures traders kind of idea. But I notice like investment wise, almost always it's so ridiculous, and I see this as the same thing. You look back over time, and this 78.6, you can kind of see that's exactly where the market bottomed off of. And you even got one of your namesake setups right there. Can you see that, Ben? Doink, doink, doink. It's so cool. I mean, this is so awesome. I love this about these TRIers. They got such cool spirit. My show co-host affectionately changed his name to Benkoff on the site. That's great. We're gonna NFT you. Derek's committed to it. He said it.
Well, if you want to do it, we're gonna do it on Hedera. I think.
All right. And, see, you guys are so much smarter. I mean, we've got Sebastian. He built this whole damn thing, and I think I have to just. It's ready to go. I'm so proud of the work Sebastian's done. So, Sebastian, if you're watching us later on, it's showtime for you, buddy. We got to take
forget
you
about
to
Hedera, then let's do it wherever Sebastian what's Sebastian network he was talking about doing it on, or
he built a whole NFT thing. He built the whole damn thing for TRI and this Hawaiian project thing, right?
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And if what would be really cool, and I don't know whether we can do it or not, but if you can make like the picture that I have for this video, all those front cover pictures, I would love to NFT those images out and use that as sort of the fundraising basis for these things. So I suppose what we need, Mr. Mo, if you're watching this, we need you to do a cover picture of the boys. That would be kind of cool because Mr. Mo, he was the one who did that. So Mo, if you're seeing the camera, there's Ben, and there's Derek, and we'll get Nick in next week, I guess. But you guys have seen these the pictures, eh? I don't know whether you guys have. It's the cover picture that I have for.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of those pictures. They're pretty funny.
Yeah, where the hell is it though? I gotta go through that.
But well done. I like my favorite is probably the one with that looks like it reminds me of the Monopoly guy.
Yeah. Oh well, that's supposed to be J.P. Morgan.
Yeah, J.P. Morgan. Okay, J.P. Morgan.
Billionaires, millionaires don't respect astrology. Billionaires do. But where the hell's the damn picture? It's right here at the top, and no, I can't find it. Oh, damn it! I hate when I do that. Oh well. Wanted to show. Oh yeah, here it is. So Mr. Mo last cycle, he put all these together, and they're so cool. So I really like the idea of trying to NFT these, and I'd love to have pictures of Ben and Nick and myself in these. And I guess this is the one. This one of J.P. Morgan in the museum. That's your favorite.
Well, scroll down. What's the one? There's one below that one. I think maybe that was mine. Oh, it's basically the same.
That's it. Yeah, it's the same one. It's just zoomed in.
Okay.
And actually, that's terrible resolution on that picture. But yeah, that is a good picture. I think that's this one. Look at that goof. Anyway, that's a picture of J.P. Morgan, and the line should be, "Millionaires don't respect astrology, billionaires do." So anyway, all right. So blah blah blah. Just wasting time. I hope you guys are having fun with me tonight. Okay, so what can I tell you about this thing? Actually, what kind of chart pattern does this look like, Ben? Can you see this stuff forming now? And actually, even this one you can do just a cute little one like that. Can you see that? What does that look like?
A little bit of a Head and Shoulders.
Yeah, I think so. And actually, I think this whole thing, I don't know. I could see David call this an Adam and this an Eve as well. Anyway, you often find that sort of bottomy patterns, they just look like this, right? The toppies, they're stabbing into the top end of ranges. And you look at it and you go, oh, Jesus, reload zone's all the way down there. Bottom's the exact opposite, right? We go like this. And you can see a reload zone all the way up top here. So down in this area, probably a good buy. There's that $1.39, and you can see, so twice that would be what, $2.80. So yeah, what a surprise. $2.75 to $2.94 right up in this area would give you that double. It's a little aggressive, I think what probably happens here is, actually, you know what? Oh boy, this thing looks like it's about to go.
What does Foggy say?
Yeah, well, we should ask him, shouldn't we? So it looks like, especially off of that gap looks like a really interesting level right there, right? See that gap right in there? So once, twice, 3 times. This is clearly an important line along here, right? Trend line. So really what you want to see is a W on the other side of this. So notice big breakout. Where the hell's the damn W? And boom, there it is. So that's like $1.45, $2. You're close, but you are going to be chasing a little bit. Might even want to do something like a reload zone off of this range, and this is tough. I'll show you an example where you just don't know if you're going to get a fill. But I did that Danny guy that we all love so much. He was talking about a coin that he liked, and I said, okay, well, I'll reload zone it, and I'll throw bids in, and I'll see if I can buy some on a pullback, right? So that would be bidding here, $1.47, maybe $1.30, and $1.20. Maybe write those levels down, right? And then I'll quiz you, in a month or two, and let's see what happens. And if you don't think you can't get filled, check this out. Danny did exactly the same thing. Somebody asked him a few months ago, what are some names that you actually liked and thought were undervalued? And this is the one that he meant. And I just went in and threw all my stink bids in and just am working my orders. And here we go. Come on, baby. You're getting close.
Hey, Ben, do you know if does any of these like DeFi exchanges have like limit orders yet? Is that a thing? I know I've heard some talking about like that's what they were moving towards, but I don't know if any of them have actually implemented something like that yet.
Right. Yeah, I haven't been able to use one yet, but I'm not on all the exchanges, so
okay.
I've seen some look like they're like a beta. I know even Bancor Networks had one. I think Nick gave a good explanation of how that works. But yeah, that's a great question. I'll look into it some more.
I would say that's one thing that kind of keeps me from wanting to dive. I guess really use them is because I would like to be able to set limit orders, right? And
Right.
catch, be able to catch that return or whatever. But
Yeah, it's hard to trade.
I'm sure Luna has got their solution. We might want to quiz Sjord on what he figures that they're doing.
yeah,
And I suppose that would probably be a good question for Nick, when he comes back. He probably knows. Yeah, okay. So, I don't know what this is I'm actually looking at. I don't even know if this is the asset that you're interested in. But if I was going to be a seller, I do like selling up against these highs and reload zones. Not a big surprise. Buyer against the original bottom, reload zone, same sort of thing. And now you guys are all like, okay, but who gives a shit? Where the hell's this thing going? So this little pattern here, I would say you draw from here to here. And that gives you some upside objectives, sort of using this battle zone as your foggy boggy. And I like to use price action itself to validate the levels. So we'll zoom in a moment and see if the price actually validates that. And the interesting thing is if this can get going and, oh, hello, look at what's up here. if we can break through that, then that starts opening up these kind of conversations. So if this, we said the cool part about this one is it's already gone through all the trend line shit. This is what usually stops the bull. Is people get all excited about this trend line break, but that's not a buy signal yet. You got to wait for the actual bull signal on the other side. So it's gone through all that. Right now you're almost like kind of in clear sailing here. Might be interesting to even see what that looks like. Yeah, so 1 2 3 more clear sailing. This is pretty much like open air all the way up here. This is pretty bullish. Obviously, you're onto something here.
And just fitting together with, the fundamental story of it being connected to Avalanche, and Avalanche has got a lot of eyes on it right now. So
yeah. So zooming in, and again, I don't know if I'm even looking at the right thing here. I might be looking at something that's kind of totally irrelevant. Sorry if I am. But
that's the right one.
I think probably something along those lines. Now this is interesting. So did the market, it's interesting how we gapped into this level. We went higher, then we were like, oh, I don't know. Then we opened up higher, then we came screaming back down. Then we like, oh, no, screw it, we're heading higher. So did the market respect that level? It's interesting. This I'm really I didn't even know level 3 today sort of quizzed me. Why aren't you teaching this more? And I'm like, I still consider myself a student. I'm just trying to figure out if I'm even doing this right or not. This stuff isn't really taught anywhere. We're just sort of figuring it out as we go. I'd almost knee-jerk think that should be the 2.618. So I wonder what happens if we take this down to here. Yeah, that's interesting. So be interesting too. 877 bring us up against this high here, fill in the gap. So is the market sort of basically doing that right now? Interesting. So been kind of mulling this over. What is the appropriate way? And honestly, I don't even know what the correct answer is. We'll go with this for the time being. Some good stuff that you can learn yourself. In fact, you know what? Before I gotta see. This is killing me. I have to see. Not there. Over here. Sorry. Everybody, just give me a second here. This is driving me nuts. I keep thinking about it in the back of my brain, and I just want to see. And this will be a good example. So trust me, there is some context to this. Maybe here. All right. So. Maybe it was. Actually, you know what? This might have been versus Bitcoin. Okay, well, I think I can use this. Do you remember in the... no, it was versus Bitcoin. Do you remember in the Daily Brief today, we pulled this up and I was like, yeah, you know what? This is getting into an interesting area and I probably ought to work a bid. Were either of you in the Daily Brief today? I don't know whether you saw that or not.
Yeah, I listened live.
That doesn't look right. What the hell is that? CRO. I thought this was...
Well, that's showing a 3-minute too. I don't know.
There we go. No, okay, yeah. Now I figure out what I'm doing. Okay, I'm sorry, everyone. Brian's going crazy. Okay, so the point was that this thing zipped up high. Opened up this morning, and then just crapped right out, which was kind of interesting. And then... I can't find... This doesn't look like... Oh, well, maybe I can show you on Trex. I don't know whether I'm going to show my camera. Anyway, I wanted to show you because I even put it in the lounge. I thought it was an interesting comment that basically there was a nice gap that needed filling. And I just placed my order right at the gap and I got a nice fill there. But I don't know whether it's this one or not. Let's see. Does that have the line there? Okay, so it was back there, was it? Okay, so anyway, This was my trade today. Sure hope I don't show you something I'm not supposed to. Oh, but how do I get over there? Anyway. This is a train wreck. Sorry, everyone. Okay, now how do I get that in there? Okay, so this is a really cool example where the market, and I can't show you on Trex, I don't know why, but the market, it jumped up here, and then it gapped lower. You see that right there? I don't know whether you guys can see that. And, the question was, do you get all wrapped up in Trex's nonsense, right? And I was like, what the hell? I just throw the order in the gap and just let it work. And I thought it was interesting just to see that, lo and behold, there we go. So we got our fill right up in there. So that was a pretty good trade, man. I mean, this thing, we've read this thing since the CRO days, or MCO days. Actually, this was Mr. Mo's. So this actually is Mr. Mo's story. So, Mr. Mo, that one's for you. Made a nice little trade on that one today. Let some go up top there. I don't even know what my cost basis was, though. So I got to assume that we already sold off on a double. I'm sure we did so long ago. But anyway, the damn thing went crazy today. The reason why I mentioned that, and it was really roundabout and it didn't really work very well, so my apologies. But I mentioned it because that other idea that you guys had. Do you see how this literally, you could look at this beforehand, kind of like what I did with that MCO, and I saw the market coming down, and I was like, well, you know what, why don't we just throw the order in at the gap? Just let it work. And, sure. And, this is also, I think I was talking about this, Derek, you were in class today, right? About the guy sleeping on the couch. So there were some people that got all wrapped up in the bullish story here. And, of course, the market breaks, and now they're sleeping on the couch. So here's a really good example where rallies into this window did nothing more than just let these guys that all bought in here get off the couch, right? Now they can go sleep back in the bed with the wife. So I think that's what's going on here. If this acts kind of normal, but of course, what the hell is normal in this world? Then you notice that we can infer there's another gap right there. So this is just like that CRO, same thing. There's probably guys that sat there, this gap has to be filled in. And if you're just watching this and learning how to trade and all that kind of fun stuff, Shark Toshi, can you please tell all these good people how often does that gap get filled in? Everybody else on YouTube should be able to answer that question really quickly too. Oh, and let's see. I mean, we only got like 20 people watching this video, so it's I'm not even remotely as good as that other guy. But let's just see. Everybody type in. How often do you have to be right when you're trading if you force yourself to have a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio on every single trade setup that you take and you obey your risk-reward ratios? And everybody answer, please. Let's see how long it takes YouTube to hear me tonight. Do 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 do. Hey there, hey there. Hey, yeah. You did that. Is that you? Is that you? Benkoff? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So let's see how long it takes for the rest of them to hear. I bet you that the delay, they're still waiting for the question. Look at that. Look how long it is. Man, hey, there it goes. All right, Constantine. Anyway, there is another guy who does exactly the same exercise, and it's just like a line of fucking robots all just go boom. 33%.
That's because they are bots.
Maybe. No. See, Evil Ferris, you don't know. You don't understand. Actually, no, you don't even need to be right half of the time. That's the irony of good risk management. You can be a scratch trader and actually be wrong more often than you are right. So, if anything, I like to tell people that because it takes the pressure off. You can shoot like 30-40% and just be a scratch trader. So what? You're just treading water. You're taking trades. You're trying to participate. You're trying to learn. You're not losing any money. You're just treading water. If anything, I think that's a great statistic. But that's just me. I'm all about risk management. And just, I remember after my wife passed away, I joined this prop firm, and I sat there and I didn't make the guy any money for like a year or two. I just sat there and I was a scratch trader. And every time I had to perform and hit a quota, I'd go make a pile of money just to make sure that he was happy. And then I'd be right back to just sort of neutral. And then he'd be like, the focus would be off of me. And then he'd be pissed off about somebody else. And then that would buy me a few more months just to fuck around in a lounge and just mine Hogue for all his nuggets of wisdom and shit. So, but anyway. All right. So, once upon a time, in a land far, far away. I think we have this gap as a target that got hit. So, but we have also this gap up here. We've got this high. This high actually represents what we call horizontal support and resistance. Interestingly enough, I made that reference to Nebraska. He would actually say the only piece of evidence, the only piece of information on this screen that's of any value whatsoever, nothing else matters, is like this point, this point, this point, this point, this point, etc., etc., etc. It's the only things that matter. Everything else is irrelevant. Because this is the only point on the price chart where you can actually see supply overwhelmed demand and demand overwhelmed supply, and the price changed. So this is the only thing that matters. And actually, we have one guy on the site who's getting really, really good at trading the, I think we're going to change it to the Nebraska FU setup. It used to be originally called the Nebraska fuck you setup, excuse my French, but in Nebraska terms, that's perfect. And then we changed it to, we had a guy on the site, but I haven't seen him in years. So if you're not on the site for more than 2 or 3 years, I think we officially change the name of your setup. I think that's the rule that we're going to have now. So we have now a guy who is in our day trading room trading futures, and he trades this setup like the wind. And I'm really, really impressed with the work that he's done of late. Great self-management, really applying himself. And now he's I would have no problem sending Craig anywhere in the world to go and be a trader representing me. Anyway, so the point of the matter here is that's all he does is he just hunts after these horizontal support and resistance levels. So point here is we got one here. You have that gap there, and lo and behold, look at what's floating out up there. So my hunch is maybe we do something like this, kind of sort of oscillate around this key level, kind of like how you see we oscillate around here. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something like that in the cards here. Probably the sign that this is done going up is if we, actually maybe I'll quiz my buddies. What would be the sign to sort of tell you that this thing is done? And that really you probably shouldn't expect a hell of a lot more up.
I mean, divergence and...
Nicely said. No, don't say anything else. You got the answer right. Good job. We also say, 38.2s to, what's that? Let's see over, I don't know whether, I think he he just had a baby recently, so I think he's doing well with his baby and he wants to work less. But 38.2 to 50% retracements of previous ranges. What do we call that? And I like it. I used to work with a guy out of New York, but he was boring as fuck. And so if anything is great, excuse me, I swore again. Oh, terrible. It's great that the site actually sort of bastardized his name, but that wasn't really fair to him. What made me even more happy was to see site veterans actually take this concept and run with it themselves and rename it themselves. And I think the world of Colin. I think he's an incredible human being and he deserves all the success that he's gotten. So I think even on his site, right, they call him the Colin Pump Chaser Zone. The only problem is this is going backwards. So I call this the Colin Dump Chaser Zone. So if this really is a bear and they want to dump it, they're going to step in here. So again, more anecdotal evidence that there's probably going to be some sort of push up into this level, which you can see right now. And interestingly enough, you can actually see the areas that they're going to have to bring the market back to. Let's see if you guys can intuitively look at this chart. What do you think would be a good sort of fib level to line up with this gap right here. Let's see if you guys can think what I'm thinking here. What would make sense that this gap would line up with this fib?
I would probably say another 38.2.
Good. Derek's firing on all cylinders tonight. So what I would be thinking is something along, pump chaser zone. And actually, this is the pump chaser zone. So if at any given point in time, we always want to draw 38.2. And then, of course, if you want to do that 38.2 to 50%, in this case, it would be that pump chaser zone. That's not a bad level. And, we even saw this on Bitcoin recently and Ethereum and stuff. That's not a bad level to be thinking about. I'm going to start thinking about coming in on the buy side. It's a little bit early for me. I would personally prefer, if I was thinking about buying this, I'd want to see 1 low, 2 lows, 3 lows. All right. We got lots of support behind us to support us heading higher. Obviously, we're just going to have to see if it happens when it happens. And then, chicken shit, Brian, if the wheels just sort of fall right off the bus, where's the market likely to find support? And that's the good old reload zone, right? So that's down in this area. And, if I'm just working stink bids and I want to join the party, and I was even telling guys that I think holy short-term memory. I did talk about the Danny's coin. Did I show you guys this? I think I did. This here, that's basically this idea. So he's all excited about this. You can see the previous market structure. You can see the reload zone. He said, if there was a project I would think that's going to do well, it's this one. And I just went and said, all right, one bid at 61.8, one bid at 78.6, one bid at 88.6, done. Okay, can I have my fills now, please? Thank you very much. So I've just been waiting. Hopefully I get them. But that would be sort of that same kind of thing where if I'm just going to work stink bids, I always just throw them in against the previous lows and to hope for some sort of pullback. Anyway. Good looking chart. This thing might rock and roll. And so, as we said, W's on the other sides of trend lines. I think that's your buy signal right there. And you'll know this thing's done when you start seeing big fat divergences coming in. So you guys tell me, any signs of bearish divergences here yet? The south of France. Well, thank you, monsieur.
Not
Maurice.
quite, but it's definitely Willie stupid up there.
Well, yeah. So this is a really good lesson, and you can do with it what your money as you please. I don't care, but I actually built this tool specifically to try and prevent me from chasing markets that have moved too far. And actually, it's great. I mean, Ben, can you see that now? That market's slightly overbought.
Yep. Learning the Willie this week.
Oh, good. Yeah, excellent. Good. So, I mean, actually, you might find that this becomes embedded, right? And Johnny Bollinger, you want another piece of a little nugget? Here you are, you technical analysis whores. Johnny Bollinger, he used to always say one of the most bullish possible things you can have for an asset is for it to actually go overbought. That's actually a very bullish sign. The key actually for the trade on these is when it exits the overbought zone. But the way that I would the easy way for you to remember this is this concept called embeddedness. So just keep in mind, markets can go embedded and stay embedded as a very strong message of trend for a long period of time. Probably, and the interesting thing is, if you want to study this, just go look at your beloved Bitcoin, and you can see it can sit in these embedded overbought zones for very long periods of time where it's just trending like a SOB. Rawr, look at me. Rawr, rawr, rawr. So it's good that you see that. This is the worst part about trading, right? I remember back in the spring, there were people saying, it's okay to buy here. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You'd make tons of money. And kaboom. So that's what all of these overbought things and divergence things and all, that's what they're all designed to do, is when we're up in this kind of space, you got to say, you know what, I'm just going to leave it alone for 6 months. 6 months, so what? What's fucking 6 months? It's not that big of a deal. I'll talk to you in 6 months. And usually things have, calmer heads have prevailed. And I gotta say, I mean, looking at the momentum of the corn right now here, this doesn't really fill me with a lot of bullish enthusiasm. I actually get the feeling that, a huge part of this cycle is really nothing to do with Bitcoin. It's all to do with Danny and his DeFi kids. There's got to be a band in there somewhere, right? How's that go? Danny and the DeFi gang? No, Danny and the DeFi. There's got to be. What's the final word I'm missing from that? Danny and the DeFi something. Is it Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch? So Danny Dan and the Funk and the DeFi Dunk? I don't know. I'm being stupid.
I think Danny and the DeFi Kids is just fine.
Danny and the DeFi Kids. All right, there you go. So Ben Check NFT, Danny and the DeFi Kids NFT. That would be a cool sticker, right? Wouldn't that be a cool sticker? And like Danny's playing the drums or something like that? So that would be choice. Or is he the lead singer? I don't know. Okay, blah, 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 blah. I guess I'm having fun, but I guess half of... I don't know. I'm having trouble focusing. Focus. What do we got? I got off onto Bitcoin there. This is a good looking chart, eh? I mean, that looks so different than the Bitcoin story. It's like apples and oranges. Fascinating. Sorry, you were saying, Derek?
Oh no, I was gonna say if we're done with that guy, or whenever we're done, I have something.
Okay, well, I gave you... I mean, I don't know what else to say here, Pangolin, other than, we've missed the trade. Looks like it was a killer buy at about $1.50. And if you want to donate me some of these, hey, that's cool. I'll be more than happy to take some. I don't mind having some of this on my books. How's that? Danny and the DeFi Degens, of course. Like why not? I didn't think of that. Of course, AR, way to go. 3 Ds did triple Ds. I think Danny I think he likes the ladies too, if I'm not mistaken. So
they can't lose.
Where's Amanda when you need her, right? All right. Okay, wait, I don't know. Did I do that thing justice? We never did answer all the questions that guy said, right? Remember that guy had like a whole bullet list of questions?
Yeah, we got to get to those because he...
Yeah, and then I think he bailed, right? So he's kind of like, okay, I'm going to transcribe everything that you write down, and it's being submitted to the Justice Department this evening. So let's see what he said here. Did Ford F print an empire pattern within the last 2 weeks? Oh, maybe. I don't know. Ford. I guess it means like Ford Motor Company?
Yep. F.
Yeah, sort of. I first and foremost, the Empire, you really, and I think he wants like a weekly chart or something like that. No. Definitely nothing on the weekly chart. I am hearing a lot of people saying that Ford and GM are being left behind Tesla and all that shit. But I gotta say, folks, that actually looks like that's a stock that's just getting ready, just getting started, not ending a run. So I did find it kind of interesting. Somebody was questioning Kathy Ford, and I just saw the headline. She's like, well, these guys are dinosaurs. That doesn't look like a dinosaur to me. That looks like somebody's waking up here. And then GM, I think that one also. Problem with this one is, and I lost my lunch on the website about 3 or 4 days ago when I was asked about General Motors, because this chart here is so utterly and completely misleading as to what the real General Motors story looks like. I mean, it really should look something like this.
Yeah, I think we talked about that a long time ago about how there was like the reorg or something like that back then.
Yeah.
Some huge,
so you're not really getting a fair assessment of what General Motors company stock actually looks like with this nonsense. And The problem is I get so fucking heated, and I'm so, I don't know, full of hot air, I guess. I get so upset about the absolute, like, crony capitalism kind of bullshit of this world that I wouldn't even be surprised people actually go, oh, there he goes, they get the popcorn, watch him, he's gonna lose it. But nobody actually listens. I mean, the bottom line here, I think that General Motors stock could go much, 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 much higher. And in fact, actually, that even looks like, doesn't that, to me, and, if I was trading on something like one of these website kind of things, and I was pulling up a chart like this, does this look like a formation that you ever hear the Beamish guy kind of going on about? And hopefully you're starting to see things develop here.
The bullish bot.
Yeah, that's an awfully big move. And we're still sort of playing around here. So what does that mean, like the ultimate objective? It's kind of funny how Cathie Woods is actually discounting these companies. And I would say, I wouldn't even be surprised, call me crazy, but you could actually have General Motors come along and say, here, Mr. Monks, here's $100 billion. Get the fuck out of our faces. We just want to buy you out. I could see that happen. It wouldn't be, that's exactly the same way as the story went with CNN and Time Warner, and Ted Turner became the biggest shareholder for Time Warner. And then what was so funny is Ted Turner got all upset because Time Warner did the same thing with AOL. And then Ted Turner wasn't going to be the biggest shareholder of Time Warner when they did the merger with AOL. So, I mean, this shit happens all the time in corporate history, guys. Anyway, point of the matter here is, something along like that. Boom, boom, boom. There's your downtrend. There's a breakout. Where's our bot levels? Boosh. Oh, what a surprise. I mean, first and foremost, and I think I asked you this earlier, Ben, so you get to do it again. What do we call this pattern? Isn't that interesting how that sets up perfectly right off that bot level, eh? You think that's an accident? I don't. So, this is a weekly price chart too. Like big institutional players, they only look at these weekly charts. So I could easily see General Motors here put on 50%. No problem. No problem at all. And how ironic, right? Cathie Woods actually thinks that these things are dead. I don't know whether you noticed, Cathie Woods' stock hasn't been doing a hell of a lot lately. It's so funny. I was even joking with the level 3ers. Was it, when we were in class, did we talk about this? I was like, I used to work with a guy. It's so funny. His nickname was Bob, I am a dicko. And that's what people actually called him on the floor of the exchange. Here comes Bob, I am a dicko. I won't say his real name because I'll probably get sued. But he used to run a fund of funds. So he used to have a mutual fund, and all it would do was and you just got to look at Cathie Wood's stock. I mean, it's kind of funny how people think she walks on water. She's just another market participant like anybody else. Oh, this is the wrong damn screen. Where's my stock screen? There it is. Where's Cathie? Cathie, what is...
Well, thinking about that potential Allen scenario that you mentioned, I could see him kind of getting bought out, leaving, and focusing just on space or something like that.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me one bit. Yeah. So there's Cathie. I mean, no offense, love you, dear. But if I was a shareholder, she's done absolutely nothing for me for the past year. There's December 3rd, 2020. And here's November 16th. So as a shareholder, I'm kind of like, get off the fucking stage, woman, and get in there and start doing some real research and make me some money. No offense. But anyway, so this guy, to end the story, Bob, I am a dicko. He would look at this and he'd go, well, why would I invest in you, Cathie? There are other guys that their fund is right in this part, right? And this is where everybody fell in love with Cathie and thought she walked on water. But ironically enough, Cathie's actually done nothing for her shareholders over the past year. So go figure, right? Anyway, back to our story about Ford and General Motors. the GM chart, that sure looks uppy to me. And then this Ford, interestingly enough, I actually like the Ford story because, you know, he actually is, he's like a descendant of actually the Ford dude who's running them. Place. I remember back in the 90s he stepped in. My old man, he used to always like Fords. I hated them. So I won't buy a Ford. I don't like how they're built. It's just me. But I suppose from a trader's perspective, I mean, you can all see the W down in here. So I think it's pretty clear where you were supposed to get in on this thing down in here. Look at that. There's probably so many buy orders. Come on, you. There's probably so many buy orders here, Ben couldn't even get his fill. There was just so many people that wanted in. But that is absolute. In fact, actually, that looks like a really nice harmonic. So look at that, 78.6 to 88.6. You know, Brian, I love that range to buy. Oh, I love that stuff. But this, I think this looks like boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. That's a bullish harmonic. So, ironically enough, at this point, you're just looking for some sort of sign of divergence in momentum. I mean, ideally, volume momentum would be perfect. Didn't get the volume momentum push here. Gee whiz, sure got the market ridiculously oversold. RSI just went. Actually, Derek, remember how Steven, he loves his RSIs at these key pivots to go absolutely nuts. Look how RSI was oversold there, and RSI was overbought there, and now RSI just insanely oversold there, right? So I think actually be interesting, Steven, if you are watching this, I'd love to hear you chime in on that, what your thoughts are on that. Not really the best divs, eh? I mean, just a violent. Oh, that's a weekly chart too. Let's see what the daily looks like at that level. So you can see right into here, and this is the hardest part of capitalism, guys. And I guess this makes sense, right? Because remember, this was COVID insanity, right? The world's falling apart. Do you have the balls to step in and actually start acquiring these things down at the bottom end of ranges here, right? I'm not going to say it's easy, but I do honestly believe that this whole market, the whole thing that happened there, remember that guy? Shouldn't we debate the mortgaging our kids' future? Shut the fuck up! You know, that guy? Looking at that chart, that looks like that was incredibly telegraphed. That was what was supposed to happen, especially, what do we always say markets do at the end of the move, right? It's kind of like Bitcoin. It always goes either straight up or straight down. Look at this thing. I mean, basically, they were acting like it was basically the end of the company. It was going out of business, eh? And it couldn't have been further from the truth. So it's kind of ironic, eh? So whoever's asking about Ford and GM, actually, I think whoever's interpretation of that, they're wrong. This looks like, I mean, it's a little late now. How the hell do you come in and buy that there? If anything, what you got to do, and it's a pain in the butt because I don't know when it's going to happen. It might take months. It might take years for this to pull back. But now, if you want to buy, then you got to do all this goddamn crappy patience stuff this Beamish guy's always going on about. And you got to wait for reload zones, kind of like I showed you with Danny's coin there. This is exactly the same sort of thing when Danny was talking about his coin, and I was like, okay, I really want to buy, right? So I'm going to throw in my bids at reload zones, and like I showed you earlier, still haven't gotten filled yet. So it's not really like I could even toot my own horn, but I'm getting closer. You can see how close I am. Getting there. I'm almost there. I didn't chase. I didn't come in up here. I just worked my bids, and now maybe I'm going to start getting filled. Anyway, I don't even know if that was the guy's question. What was the guy's question? Oh, it made an empire. No, I don't see any empire here. No. Don't see that. I see potentially maybe a double top. I mean, look how far this thing's run, right? I told you where I'm going to buy. So I'm going to buy down here. Can I buy up here? No. So probably, and actually I even asked Derek earlier, if there was going to be a level that maybe I can even start thinking about this thing pivoting, what's that level going to be?
It's the pump chase. Collins pump chaser
All
zone.
right, yeah, you can use that.
38.2.
All right, awesome. So, and you could even go off of this range, Mr. Tony H. All right, so you could even just go here to here and throw on 38.2. In fact, even we call it, right, pump chaser. Look at that. We even have a label. And there it is. And what a coincidence. Basically, all we're doing is we're saying, okay, we can start buying where somebody actually recently said, no more down, you go up. So somebody else is buying in here. Remember I told you about Nebraska and his things, right? The only thing the chart tells you is the only point that matters. That kind of stuff. So, that gap needs filling in. Looks like this gap needs filling in there. This gap up here needs filling in. This gap right here needs filling in. I mean, that's a Swiss cheese. You see, this is the same sort of thing that if we were sitting over here, right? And we were going, this gap needs filling in. This gap needs filling in. This one, this one, this one. All right, and notice, one by one, ching, 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 almost all of the gaps got filled in. The only one that didn't get totally filled in was this one right here. But all of these other gaps all got filled in. And the irony of it all is this actually tells me that we still have unfinished business here. So I wouldn't even be surprised if these are actually liquidity pools. That one right there. This one right there. Right? And people put their stops just below these lows. That's what we call a liquidity pool. And then obviously all this in here. So if we get some sort of shock to the market and we come screaming down, ironically enough, Colin's going to be sitting there going, well, that's exactly what I told you to do. Just wait for this. And then, if you start getting divergences, bullish divergences, start getting W's, yada, 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 you can maybe start thinking about bullish bots heading back up. But right here, there's nothing you can do. Just got to sit there and twiddle your thumbs. If you want to, aggressive, to me, I don't really like the idea of shorting the market here as long as the Fed's still printing money and all that crap. If we start to hear that they're actually raising rates, the old rule is 3 steps and a stumble. So we might actually have to see the Fed raise rates 3 times before we actually start seeing the market break. Does that mean I really want to get aggressive on the shorts? Considering we, on this weekly chart, where are we on this picture? It's kind of, 6 to 1, half dozen the other. It's not really a place I want to short. I see some gaps all the way up here. And, if Alan and all the, Kathy Woods and all the electric vehicle orgy and stuff, maybe Ford comes in and maybe we get a bidding war between Ford and General Motors for Tesla. Who knows? I mean, you can't write
they got
better.
Their lightning truck now, don't they?
Huh?
The lightning truck.
Yeah, I know. There is that funny looking truck. Would you buy one of those? Do you like those?
Hold up, are you talking about the Ford or the what's it, Rivio?
I don't know any about that stuff. I know Alan brought out a truck. I think he called it the Cyber truck or something like that. It's a very bizarre looking vehicle.
But Ben, you're talking about which one are you talking about?
It's like a F-150.
Oh, okay.
It's a Ford product.
Yeah.
And it's electric?
Coming in 2022.
Yeah, one of my buddies was talking about that, man. It's like...
Okay, so, you put it all together. Do I really want to step in front of that here? I don't think so. I think there's you want good stories to short, go look at the Canadian banks. I think they're wonderful shorts. But something like this, nah. If anything, I actually like investing in USA Inc. And what's really interesting, this is the one thing that really puzzles me about this whole world Fugazi system right now. Everybody that I talk to that lives overseas or works overseas or knows even Chinese people, they all want to be like the United States. This is the weird thing about all of this. And I actually could see a renaissance of being American actually coming back into vogue. Now there's a controversial statement. But anyway, call me crazy. But I remember, when the whole Chinese story got going, the super hot thing, if you were a rich Chinese guy, was to be driving around on a Harley Davidson hog You were the fucking man. So I don't know.
That's not happening with electric trucks. You need some little bit of muscle.
What would an electric motorcycle sound like? I guess it wouldn't really have a hog, would it? It would just be all quiet. It would do the Jetsons thing, right? It would go bing, 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 or something, right? All right. Anyway, so Mr. Tony, wow, Tony H is getting a full-on private session here tonight, you lucky bastard, and he's not even here. All right, Tony H says 3. Nick, you purchased the large WD Gann book. Where from? Well, Nick's not here tonight, so we'll leave him. We'll leave him to answer that, I guess, next week. If you can come in next week and ask a question again, he'll be here. Number 4. What is the best tool to use to find certain sector stocks such as diamonds, artificial intelligence, electric vehicles, etc.? Actually, Tony, I go about this whole process the exact opposite way. Ironically enough, I go and find good structured companies, and then I let the company vend in whatever the sort of hot story du jour is. A really, really good example of that was I worked with a guy about 10, 15 years ago on a stock that he was promoting. It was a silver stock down in Mexico. It was called Starcore. And what was really fascinating about this TSX, this Starcore here, this thing, he did very, very well. Clients did really well. It was a win-win for everybody. But it's always funny with these VSC promoters. They've got one big play. So this stock was like $1, $2 kind of thing. That was the sort of senior play. And then he always had like one in his back pocket that was a piece of shit. And I always like the pieces of shit after the story has died from the previous cycle, because often they roll the stocks back. And there are little telltale signs of value that they vend into them. And the Starcore actually was exactly the same thing when I first got involved in it. So this one was one of his, exact same thing, where you can see they rolled the stock back here. So whatever the venture was over here, it was dead. It was over. It was yesterday's news. Rolled the stock back. So the structure of the company, and let's do a little treat for YouTube. Let's see if my panel knows. If I was going to invest in an asset, what's the ideal number of units outstanding? That's sort of in that sweet spot that we want to concentrate on.
It's less than 50 million.
Well, we're gonna be
20 to 30.
Thank you. So 20 to 30 million is that magic sweet spot window. And, look at your beloved Bitcoin. It's no accident. So try and remember that. That's important. You go and see these, I'm going to buy this little altcoin for $20 and it's going to go to 200 million and I'm going to get richer than Bitcoin. And you find out it has 1 billion coins out, forget it. It's just not going to happen. So back to stock market. You can see they rolled the stock back in, just very typical fashion. This used to be a mining company. And then all of a sudden, Mr. Edie was like, these kids are getting really excited about this cryptocurrency stuff. And it's so cliche. The company was indebted and it would have gone bankrupt, but they roll the company stock back. You can see there's this share rollback here. We'll get rid of this. There it is there. So they rolled it back 5 for 1. These old shareholders are dead. Then through here, anybody that's owed money by the company, theoretically the company's stock has value now. So they go, well, you know what? We'll take shares in the new company instead of the debt. That's always a really, really good sign. And then lo and behold, Mr. Edie announces that they're going into the Ethereum mining business. Well, why? Well, because all you crazy kids love this shit. And what was really fascinating about this one is Ethereum kind of went in the shitter a year or so ago, and everybody kind of lost interest in crypto. And so he was like, well, I think I'm going to vend in a gold stock company name into this. We're going to get out of the crypto business. And I remember calling them up, and this little junior guy, he was like, it's so funny listening to stock promoters. They're so full of hot air. They're so full of shit, but it's great listening to them. They sure are convinced in their authority. So the little guy's like, oh no, crypto's dead. There's no future in crypto. What do you think? Is there any future in crypto, boys? You tell me. All right, now gold stocks, that's where you gotta be. That's what this guy's saying. Then I call back a week later. No, we changed our mind. We're gonna stay in the crypto business because Ethereum went up like $1,000 in like a week or something. So, point of the matter here is, I got involved in this because of the structure, low share count, options to directors, Robert Edie himself. There's lots of news. He loaded himself up, especially I think off of this like price action here, loaded up at 6 cents. I don't know whether you guys remember this. I mean, we traded this on the site. It was a lot of fun. But basically, directors loaded up to the boobs at like 6-7 cents. I think it was somewhere around there. So you can see right at the bottom. And like I said, after the fact, they go in and vend in the blockchain stock story. And I mean, I'm here to make money from trading. So when I saw that the insiders were loaded up, they rolled the stock back, shares for debt. Basically, there's value. So Brian's in there buying. And this is the best part about what I do because, oh man, it's so beautiful to see when this happens. But you can see, nice little double bottom. So you could probably draw a nice little Foggenbaum off of this W, down, up, down. These lows held, so that's good. You could probably also do another one off of there. So I went like... boom. And this one, actually, I guess that one hasn't confirmed yet. Well, 2.618. Oh, probably I used that as a level. What I like to do with these is I want to see confluence. So you see 4.669, 2.618. I'm starting to get confluence. Then you look left and you go, whoa. Didn't that Shartoshi guy say that there's a bit of an odds of these gaps being filled in? Look at this. This is all holes in here. All of this should be traded to at some point. But what I said with this one is, you know what? I've got these two cool little foggy boggies lined up very nicely. So I'm going to place my sell order just underneath them. And ding, 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 ding. I bought where the insiders got in. And I hopped off right at the top like a total boss. I got to tell you, that's one of my best trades that I pulled off in a while. That was pretty fucking slick. So, to answer your question, I would prefer starting at the structure. Make sure that the structure is correct. Make sure that the insiders are highly, highly incentivized from above where you're long. That's even better. Like there's one that I've been buying recently where the insiders are actually long from almost twice, or actually more than twice what the current price of the stock is. The stock's a fucking steal. But it's so beautiful, you know, this is supply and demand. It's kind of out of favor and it's not really doing anything right now, so nobody's interested in it at all. So it just goes to show. Capitalism is such a funny thing. But anyway, so find signs of value. Good structured stocks. Then he happens to vend in, the guy who owns the structure, he happens to vend in something that happens to be hot in the marketplace, and the fucking thing goes apeshit. There's another good example. This one's, lithium industry is HOT, hot right now. And where the hell's my stock list? Here we are. So here's another one. This one's kind of fun. Wish me luck. Who knows? Probably by me showing this, somebody's going to see who runs this stock and they're going to prevent this from happening. But it's sort of the same logic. Let's see if I can show you.
Isn't lithium required for the batteries that are made for electric cars?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to watch how that industry evolves. It's funny, we used to have a girl, remember the LJ setup we have on the site? There was a lady that was on the site years ago. Her name was LJ, that's why we named it after her. And at that point, that was like 4 or 5 years ago, she was like, well, actually lithium's old technology in batteries. So how ironic, eh? I don't really know where the cutting edge in this battery technology is. I get the impression that our graphite seems to be really important. Did you notice our little graphite names are taking off recently? But this one here, just to finish this story, this is a really good example of, hopefully you see all the same things, all that shit that Brian likes. Try and find companies' good structure coming in down the bottom end of the range. This one, a buddy of mine happens to be running the company and the story. But hopefully you see all the similar sort of things. Force yourself to come in, and of course, as it's moving higher. And this one's kind of cool. I thought I had this on here, but I don't seem to see it here. Oh, yeah, here we are. And here, just give me a second. This one, I've got, using that same sort of foggy buggy concept. I've got this foggy buggy, gives me a 2, 4, and an 8 up in there. This foggy buggy gives me a 2.6. So this is actually very similar, like I showed you with that IMIN, where this 2.618 is lining up with 4.669. You can sort of see that same thing, 4.669, 2.618. And it's also lining up against nice old highs. So this is a fantastic analogy. Again, good structured company coming in at value. And then, oh, gee whiz, he told me, oh, yeah, I think they're actually they're vending in a lithium deal. And here we go. I mean, so my answer to you is, ironically enough, start with good structure. Low shares out. Options to directors, shares for debt. If the companies don't have earnings, then that shit is critical, because that's the only way you're going to figure out value. If they have earnings, low PE ratios, low price to book, PEG ratios, low price to cash ratios. I mean, anytime you see a stock that's trading basically cash on the balance sheet, it's a pretty easy buy if they actually have some earnings. Maybe even Tony H. look into the concept called CanSlim. A gentleman who founded Investors Business Daily, William O'Neill, forever ago, he sort of picked through the database of all the stock information from this old Chicago newspaper. I think it was the Chicago Sun-Times, if I'm not mistaken. And he picked out all the key criteria that every single winning growth stock always seemed to have. And it's basically the letters of CanSlim. So and keep in mind, we teach all this shit in our fundamental analysis, right, boys? I don't know whether they remember it or not, but we do teach it. Start with good structure, right? Whether it be things like the VCIM, company non-earnings, or whether it be CanSlim, company with earnings, structure. And then, actually I did this with the level 3ers today, right, Derek? We went through the TMX website, and we just built a screen and just pulled down all of the stocks that had like 15 to 40 million shares out or something like that.
Yes. Yep.
And then we just went through one after another. It produced a list of about 300 names, and that's basically your starting universe. And then you just go and look through all the criteria. Somebody asked, do you like VCM over CanSlim? It's really a question of, do you like high spec venture cap, or do you like slow and steady, grow earnings? It's weird. It's like somebody asked me years ago, do you like technical analysis over fundamental analysis? And my answer to everybody about all these kind of questions is, I'm agnostic. I don't really care. You know what I like? I like to see when I buy something that I sell it at a higher price and I've made money, and you all think that I'm a genius. That's what I like. So if I can somehow do that kind of shit, then fucking A. If it's from VCIM names, awesome. Unfortunately, with CanSlim, it's a little more difficult. You have to build screeners and stuff, and sometimes you like the data, especially relative performance from the screeners. Like I said, William O'Neill built his newspaper, Investor Business Dailies, around that relative performance metric. So that means you got to subscribe to that service to get that number, and that's difficult, right? I by definition, I'm a cheap ass. I hate paying for subscriptions. Hate it with a passion. So if I can do things for free, I figure out how to do it for free. But at the same time, too, you all know my story about Ethereum and how I fucked that trade up recently over the past month or two, where I was obsessed with saving money from moving. I didn't want to pay movers, but I was absolutely exhausted after moving, and I completely missed a really, really big trade there. So penny wise, pound foolish. Would it be in your best interest to invest a few bucks into like a newsletter service that spat out canned slim names to you? I think so. I mean, half of what we're trying to do at TRI is I want to build a subscription service where every day in your mailbox you get a nice list of Brian Beamish's key reversals. And that's what we're going to call it. It's not going to be the Davo. It's not going to be LJ's. It is going to be Brian Beamish's key reversals. Damn it.
I like it.
Right, thank you. I mean, it's kind of an inside joke, but I get kind of bitter the way that people borrow my concepts. Anyway, I guess that would be, anyway, it's here nor there. So the point here is like, would it be kind of handy to get a nice little list of these key reversal signals in the email first thing in the morning? And actually we had some really great key reversal signals coming out of today. Thought it was interesting. We're getting well, you can see the bullish ones here. I don't want to open up this can of worms. If you're interested, come on the site. You can do a 30-day trial. You can poke the tires and stuff. Seward's almost at the position where he's got this thing ready to go, so we're really close, and hopefully you can come on the site and watch the videos and listen to me jump up and down about things like the bread. I tell you, man, this is awesome stuff. This is worth the site subscription, I tell you alone. Just knowing what the hell the markets are thinking and feeling. It's good stuff. So anyway, moving on. What was the question? Oh, yeah. Okay, so hopefully you heard me say concentrate on the structure, then let them vend a good deal into the good structured product. Build your universe. And like I said, we did a really simple screen, US, Canadian stocks, today with the level 3ers that produced a list of like 300 names. So there's your universe. Then apply all the technical analysis stuff that we teach to that universe, and this kind of stuff happens. Just buy W's, and you end up making some pretty good money from trading. Actually, and also too, really good example, this is universal. This is, this was a VSE penny stock, right? Actually, it's not even VSE, it's Calgary Stock Exchange, even worse. That's like bulletin board down in the States. Ooh, PU. And then this is actually, this is a play on the U.S. vehicle market. So, a SPAC, right? This is a SPAC. But hopefully you see all the same principles. Nothing really changes here. Reload zones, bull divs, W's, buy it, sell halves on doubles, free positions. Merry Christmas. In fact, actually, I think there's the trade right there. That's what I tweeted out today. Nice little trade. Yay. All right, so blah, 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 blah. Sure hope that helped a bit. So whoever that guy was, man, he got a total special treat today. 3 questions. All right, let's see. Who else has got something here? A question on either of you two guys' mind?
No, I was just going to have, if there wasn't anything else in the chat, maybe look at the graph. The graph?
Graph?
GRT.
GRT. GRAT. Okay. GRT. Crypto?
Yeah, crypto, yeah.
Where's the tether?
Yeah, yeah, sure, that's fine.
It's not bad. These are the kind of things where you're coming a little bit late to the party, but you're pretty close to the bottom. I mean, when I used to, when I used to do these shows with Coinaging, it's such a shame why that just disappeared. Such a shame. But I used to always say to them and to that audience, my number one job here is just to prevent you guys from coming in and buying this up here. That's my number one job. If there was any favor I can do to all of you people, it's just to show you visually where you're not supposed to buy. And hopefully you see this enough times, you go, okay, I think I get it. Green boxes are buying places, and red boxes are selling places. I suppose that what's cool now is we can add in foggy boggies. What do you think the odds are? I'm thinking 2.618 is in there, and 4.669 is right up against there. We can do actually a couple. Let's do this one here. That's a little itty bitty one. That one probably projects these levels. So there, and then woo! Oh, look at that, 1688. Beautiful. You love when you see that. That's we call this the Mugen bomb. I can't remember how we did this, but I think they call this the Foggen bomb. Because this is the Foggen bomb. This is the Foggen bomb constant, 4.669. Because this is 2.618, and of course our 0.618 is our mountain man level, we call this the mountain gun bomb. We call 877, thanks to Josh, we call that the moon gun bomb. I will put a dash in there. And thanks to Julian, he figured this one out. We call this 1688 the Julian gun bomb. So maybe that'll help you remember this stuff. In a weird sort of way, this is kind of like Amanda's Penthouse, because what we used to do with Amanda's Penthouse is, and actually this is interesting. Before we move on to that, look how Mountain Gun Bomb lines up nicely with Moon Gun Bomb. Do you think that's an accident? Is this getting confusing with all these names? And look,
it's great. I love hearing it.
Yeah, look how Foggenbaum up here actually is hanging out with Julian Gunbaum. Or maybe we call this baby powder Gunbaum? Would that be better? Or he's really big on Star Wars, right? The what's the baby Yoda? Or is that what it is? No. What's it? What is
Mandalorian, maybe?
Yeah, Mandalorian Gunbaum?
That has the baby Yoda.
All right, so Jesus, that's a name.
It's Grogu, isn't it? A Grogan bomb.
Grogan bomb? All right, Grogan.
The baby Yoda is called Grogu.
I call him baby Yoda. That's completely wrong, probably. It's not actually Yoda, but yeah, you're right.
Anyway, it's interesting how you can see the overlap, right? And I like that confluence kind of thinking. I love that. But anyway, way back when. I also teach the concept of the parking garage, which is nothing more than just thinking about the way the market moves in stair-step fashion, not mathematics, but think of sort of like, actually just pure physics. Probably the easiest way to think about this is like, Gann's 50% level. You could argue that Gann's 50% level is the exact same thing as 200%. It's just the inverse of it. So that means, 300% could be 1, 400% could be 1, 500% could be 1. These are all perfectly, if you think about the way price moves, it often moves in this very stair-steppy fashion. And actually, what's interesting for the level 3ers is we explore the DOM later on, I guess in the next few weeks with you, Derek. And you'll actually see the way markets actually move in particular. It moves in a very stair-steppy fashion. I mean, if you look at the way that the order book is broken down, bid walls, ask walls, all that kind of talk. So, interesting how this would basically, 400% was basically Amanda's penthouse. Anytime we got up above 300%, that was basically nosebleed level as far as I'm concerned. So interesting how 400%, 500%, there is that crazy ass Grogan bomb. That's what we're calling it. Man, that's going to be tough to remember. Grogan bomb. Grogan bomb? Maybe Grogan bomb. Probably don't need two G-E-N's. Okay. So, interesting image. Very cliche. And also, too, notice that on the move back down, the market actually maintains that same cadence. So, notice, right, there's our Grogan bomb. Notice where it stopped on the way back down. Well, it stopped right at Mugen bomb. And then it went back up. It kind of fought in here, and then it puked out, and notice where did it stop? Oh, it stopped right at Foggenbaum. Then we sort of puked out. Where did we stop? Actually, we went all the way down, right down into these levels, eh? So, boom, 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 boom. Basically right off the original breakout there, right? Right back down to the original bottom. Could probably do the same logic off of this one. So remember we said that these lined up. So we'll go back to chaos, boom, right? And then notice 866, 2619, look how up and then down right into that level. Okay, stop, drop, no. Okay, down, next breakout is the original breakout level. That's where we stop there, right? And then so it works both directions. Sedona Euphoria key reversals. I like that. Maybe that should be the NFT. And a picture of the guy of JP Morgan there, right? In the museum. Going, fucking bombs are your friend. Oh, goodness. All right, now I'm actually, I haven't even been drinking. It's just tea I'm having tonight. Okay, so what can I do right here? One thing you could probably do is go boobity boop, boobity boop. So there is sort of your trading range. And go boom. So we're not quite back down to reload zones. This is probably Brian's cheap ass level. And actually interesting, look how basically you're just buying this W here, right? If you wait for that dip into these levels. Probably draw a nice little trend line off of these lows. Boobity boo, boobity boo. Something like that. So you can see where key support is. Probably if I did want to participate, I'd probably just throw in some stink bids down in here. Probably against that tail right in there. Probably right up in there. Right, just throw a sprinkle. In fact, probably the easiest thing to do, throw in a bid at 61.8, 78.6, 88.6. All of them get filled. That'll give you a nice little average somewhere right in this area here. That's not a bad level to be long. So if we do start to M out on the other side of this trend line, then you know the uptrend is toast. And that's probably your key to maybe, you know, if you threw a couple bucks of this and maybe you even did it with a little bit of, you know, margin or leverage or something, probably you want to walk away. But if you can come in down here and you could risk to this thing, you know, maybe doing some, whoops, that's not what I wanted. Maybe coming down, maybe something like this, right? And if you could risk just that window, your average long is there, and maybe you risk like that, it's not a terrible risk window. And really the upside, if this thing can dip and then hold and then start Wing back up, and if you can start seeing that bullish structure come in on top of this trend line, you can always add to the trade more. There's probably a bit of money to be made here. You know, our rule is we want to see market structure on the other side of trend lines. So that one's busted. Probably the buy signal off of that was there. And that one is probably in play right now. Right there. Yeah. So, interesting. Look at that. War, 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 break. Oh, hello. So, any kind of W's over here. This is kind of like that other one we were looking at, right? We're kind of out into sort of open air here. Well, that could get interesting. Then, of course, Foggy Buggies. Since this W did fire and we're above there, right, you could always do something like that. So 2.618 takes us up into this level. It kind of makes sense, I guess. 4.669 takes us up against the old highs. So there you go. And then sort of to validate, you could also do another one off of this W in here. So notice, yep, look at that. You can see the confluence. And if this thing does turn back up here, you could probably do another one as this comes in and sort of just foggy up sort of what that looks like here. Interesting, look how we banged into that, right? Holy chaos. Then banged into that, holy chaos. And then remember I said, often what'll end up happening is you'll actually just play ping pong. So we went sort of wow, then we went bang, and then notice bang right back against here. We should oscillate, and then if we're bullish, of course, head back up. But if we're bearish, right, bang right back against the original bottom. So, I don't know. Does that help at all? What do you think?
No, it's good. Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
All right. Cool. I haven't really looked at any momentum indicators in here. As you can kind of see, I'm really big on location. Location is the most important thing to me. What I would suggest is when we do come into location, go down, drill down, look at your lower time frames, see if there's any confirmation of bullish divergence, see if you got any price structure. And that should be reason 2 and 3 to enter. Right, interestingly enough, you can kind of see how this was an original double bottom, down, up, down. Notice how we broke out, and then notice, gee whiz, look, we put in another W off almost exactly the same level. So clearly there's a lot of interest right off of this level here. I wouldn't have a problem working some stink bids, see if you get lucky, see if you can pick some up. If we can, and you're just like, oh man, I just want to get in. I think you do have a cute little inside bar reversal there. You might take a nibble on that, but it's very, very weak buy signal. There's no momentum here. There's no volume. It's just, you're taking a shot here. I think probably the best thing I would do is if you can't get that reload zone, at least look for that sort of saucer bottom. That gives you those 3 higher lows to work with if you're going to take a shot here. All right, that's that. Let's see. Brian, why do you prefer Visa? Oh, yeah, we answered that. The Coingy shows were gold. Yeah, weren't they? That was a lot of fun back in the day. Right. In Vancouver, gas stations are being torn down for the land. Redevelopment. It takes longer to fill your car with gas than change an electric vehicle and charge an electric vehicle. The range issues are a thing of the past here. Oh, that's interesting. I don't really know that. The problem is I don't even think you can drive a car far enough to actually test whether the battery will last here now. I don't know whether you guys are aware, Derek and Ben, but we're basically out on an island here now. It's incredible. All of the interior all flooded heading down to the States. And then you head east and all of the major roads are all washed out, like completely washed out. And it's actually interesting, like speaking of screeners on the site, we actually had bearish signals, if I'm not mistaken, fire on big Canadian railroad companies. And hopefully you can see. I don't know whether maybe it was in Canada. This is a good example of that screener, right? I mean, just look at that beautiful Q reversal signal. And what do you think? Was that a half decent signal? I mean, this is, I tell you, if I'm going to make $1 billion in this goddamn world, this is going to be it. It's off of this shit. Because I tell you, that's the shit. Sjord's built it. And if you see it, I don't know whether it's this page. I have to figure out which page he's got up and running yet. But if you see it, so it's just interesting that all the roads and all the railroads and all that shit are all being washed out. Of course, they're going to balk on their they're probably going to have to declare force majeure on contracts. So it's just interesting to see how the Q reversal screener was spitting up sell signals on these guys. Where are we here? Q reversals. There it is right there. Canadian Pacific Railroad. Right at the top of the list. Interesting, too, how, like I said earlier, somebody was asking, do we short Ford? I would much prefer, you see there's a key reversal on Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. Hopefully you can see the difference between shorting a Ford Motor Company and shorting something like this railroad stock. What do you think? Has that thing got any room to move down here? This is how stupidly, ridiculously bid up this market is. You just draw simple trend lines. There's the trend line, folks. That's at $20 a share. That goddamn thing's almost 100. This is the irony of it all, is that people in the stock market have the audacity to get pissed off at crypto and say, oh, those crypto assets, they're awfully risky. I hate to say it, folks, that's a pretty damn risky looking chart. If we start losing these kind of trend lines, oh boy, we're in big trouble. But this actually isn't the sweet spot. I think that this is a way better, juicier market to short. Look at that. What the fucking fuck? Why is it a Canadian chartered bank has tripled in the past, since the crisis? Aren't these banks supposed to be working for their citizens? This is a chartered company. It has a God's gift. It will never go out of business. It's basically guaranteed by the government. How did they get off fucking tripling their stock price while we're supposed to be in this big crisis? Fuck you. What a fucking scam this whole world is. But there you go. Brian gets all excited. So, so do you want to short GM or Ford? Or do you want to short a piece of crap fucking... Oh, no, Jesus, here we go. It's criminal. This is the definition, I think, of crony capitalism, if I've ever seen it. These guys, they should get their heads handed to them here. Absolutely heads handed to them. Why? Well, because, look, anybody who lives in Vancouver, just open up your window and look outside. It's stupidity what's going on here. And, of course, this is all insane real estate speculation, which the banks, of course, are writing all the mortgages on. Do you think that if this real estate market does what it's supposed to do, what goes up comes down, 50% rules, everything normal about society, do you think these guys, they're going to get caught holding the bag? No. What's going to happen is the stock's going to get ripped, and then they're going to go, oh, we need a bailout. Oh, think of all the jobs that might be at risk. That's what makes me so angry. You don't think it's happened? Rewind. Go look at what happened in the United States of America. It's the same damn thing with your bankers in 2008. Their charts looked exactly the same. And the worst part about it, these stupid U.S. companies, you can't even see. This chart looked exactly the same as that bank stock, but they don't even let you see the data now. So how are you supposed to learn from history? They're stealing history from us. So what do you think the odds are that after the shit hits the fan, they get billions and gazillions of dollars of bailouts? Well, free money. And then all of a sudden, this chart, you're not going to be able to access this chart. It's going to be reorganized or something. But you can see, if I'm going to short something in the market, this is what I want to short. This is just ridiculous. And it's the worst part about this is a crime against Canadian citizens. Now, would you after saying all that, Would you have liked to have gotten a notice in your email the other day that CIBC just went in and put in a beamish outside downside key reversal? Look at what happened last time. Outside downside key reversal. Or how about this Canadian bank? You could see it. I don't have any love for these Canadian banks. But how about this? Outside downside key reversal. And I was going on about this all through the summer. I mean, do you like taking money from the Canadian banks? I love taking the Canadian banks' money. I love it. It's one of the little joys that actually I have in life is when I can close out a trade like this and I've made money and I know that I've taken money out of these bankers' pockets. I love that. It makes me so happy. So anyway, do with it as you please. What I'm trying to suggest to you is Sjord has built a magic machine that spits out... what are you supposed to think if you ever see the market smiling at you? So that in itself, ironically enough, is enough of a reason for me to start thinking bearish anyway. Okay, Brian got all heated. Way to go, guys. You triggered me. I don't know how it happened.
Feelings mutual, though. So
I know. Like Joey Diamond. Joey Diamond goes over to Asia. Oh, and it turns out he doesn't have to abide by quarantine rules. He doesn't have to abide by vaccination rules. He doesn't have to... fuck off. It just never ends, Anyway, all right. So, getting on 8 o'clock. What are you guys over on YouTube? Are you enjoying the edutainment? There's that RT guy. RT, how's the baby? Is that my RT Colin? Is that you? I was asking somebody tonight about how the little one's doing. I think that's Colin. I don't know. What's he saying? He's saying, please check BTC. I don't know what we're supposed to be checking for. Rabies? No. I think you guys have seen, ironically enough, my message at crypto actually doesn't change a hell of a lot. I still think that Bitcoin has got to trade back to our high to low trend line. I've told you guys that a few times now. I still think that's what has to happen here. So right now, that's sitting at about 50 Gs. I also told people on the site today, I thought that, intraday basis, this was a pretty cliche setup. Sort of candle body lows for trade location. And also, too, if this is RT, is that you, Colin? Oh, Jesus. Great Del Moody says, who's getting ready to pump Doge again? I don't know whether you saw Great Del Moody. I heard today that Snoop Doggy Dogg is supposed to be the music at the Super Bowl coming up. And I got a feeling that we are all going to be highly, highly, highly encouraged to get out our circle jerking gear for that event. And I think it's going to be very NFT-ish. It's going to... Oh, you guys like that one? No? Yes?
I think it's funny.
All right. I think we're going to be encouraged. I really do. But I asked somebody, Great Del Mini, I asked the boys tonight, is Doge an NFT play now? How does Doge fit into Snoop Doggy Dogg's music NFT thing? Because I do like the NFT play for artists. I think Derek's made the case that the artists can, try and capture more of their sort of their pay, if you will, through these things. Be more interactive with their audience directly. I do like that kind of conversation. I don't know whether you've seen Julian. Julian's just gone fucking over the top with all these playing card things and stuff, right? So Julian, one of TRI's principal, he's hip deep in these, what's it called? Deviants? Deviants?
Yeah, Deviants.
Yeah.
Deviants faction, I think, something like that.
And somebody was saying that they're actually getting bid up now, so I'm sure he's getting super excited about all that. I don't know. Great Del Moody. I look at that chart. That doesn't. What letter of the alphabet does that look like it's making right now? You've been working with me long enough. You can put away all the fucking Allen bullshit and actually probably do better TA than he does. So I don't know. Would you step in front of that? You've been wearing. I don't know. How about you two? Ben or Derek? What do you think? Would you step in and buy that right there?
No, not at the moment.
I mean, I don't want to bias your opinion, and actually, I do like Ben how you sometimes just say, "Man, no, Brian, I like it, and I'll do it." So please be honest. Don't let me bias you. But I guess what I just see here, it's kind of like this, right? You see all this Emmy kind of action. That's what I see here. So it's awfully tough for me to step in front of that kind of action. So I don't know, Great Delmini. I might be a little bit... if anything, I'm actually hearing that he's a little bit bitter over all this Shinobi stuff, eh? Yeah, okay. Fair enough, dude. No biggie. I mean, maybe nice little inside bar fires here. We actually have the makings of some sort of pivot low here. Maybe. Could be.
Maybe Alan's stepping up his Twitter game on Doge. Maybe that's what it is, or something.
Yeah,
like
you know what I would probably say is if we get a nice W on the other side of whatever this trend line is, that's probably your signal that this thing's a buy. So what is that? That's like there to there to there to there to there to there. Yeah, this is actually a really good example. Because I've told you guys before, this is really dangerous to go and buy this here. And can you see how they're kind of just walking the market down along this trend line here? That, folks, seriously, that's worth the price of admission tonight if you can learn that. That's a good image for you guys. I'll put that in the lounge. Like, seriously, any TRIers that are watching this would be really, really good journal information for you. All right, so caveat emptor, it's probably nothing I would get interested in. Having said that, if we do start getting W's coming in down here, well, you might get something to work with. And full disclosure, I was pretty fortunate. I let a big chunk of our bag go up here, but I still got a lot of Doge on the books. And 5 figures Doge. A lot of Doge. Actually, I think close to 6 still. So I do need to be losing my love affair with Doge. I'm always kind of bitter. I mean, half the reason why I loaded up so much on Doge is because I really love the community spirit. You know what Doge is to me? And probably none of you guys even know this. Let me see if I can show you a picture of Doge. Now, be forewarned, sometimes these images can be a little shocking for our delicately dispositioned audience. I don't know whether we'd use that term or not. But first off, here is what I consider the Doge. These are the original OGers of crypto and OGers of Doge. Do you guys remember these two guys? Like, I was at the DogeCon the last, Alan, who knows what the fuck he was doing there. He wasn't at that DogeCon, so, that wasn't even that long ago. So it just goes to show Alan wasn't in Doge for very long. But this was the last DogeCon, and I loved how these guys dressed up. These two are smarter than fucking shit. They're very, very smart people. But that was half of the thing about Doge. It was just frivolity. You were not supposed to take this shit seriously. And then, I actually am quite proud of the fact that I actually got to march in the DogeCon parade looking like a total idiot with the guy who actually built Doge. Right? This is the guy who actually, I can't remember what his name is. He's got a cool name. I forgot off the top of my head. But anyway, he and I, marched around downtown Vancouver dancing on parking lots and all that kind of stuff. And he and his wife are so cute. They are so not this world. They're very, very staid, very conservative. He was a computer programmer, probably for like one of the major firms and stuff. But... this is why I got involved in Doge. What's happened to Doge now? Oh, God, what do you do? And the thing is I don't want to sell it all. If anything, it's almost like it's a keepsake. I'd almost want to, even maybe like download it or something and bury it in like a time capsule or something. Maybe that's what I'll do. Who knows? Anyway, no, I don't like that trade just yet. It could be. I mean, it could be, but I don't like it just yet. Talked a little bit about Bitcoin there, so I think I've given you my 2 cents. You guys have to admit, the one thing that does jump out at me is hopefully you guys have made a bit of money here over the past little while. Because this market has done pretty darn well heading up here. And, I would strongly suggest you guys, if you did make some money on all this, don't let it just slip through your fingers, please. Book some profits. Yeah, maybe it means you got to pay some taxes, but it would be good to have something tangible on the other end of the bull market. Maybe it's something as simple as Nick's little Gann Bible there. I like the idea of giving yourself something tangible. Maybe a new car, or maybe a nice fancy set of clothes or something like that. Just something that when it's over, you got something to show for all your effort. Because trust me, I've been at this game an awfully long time, and that's the one thing that always bugs me the most, is there will be a bear. It will come. It's not here now. Enjoy the uppie now. But there will be a bear, and it will come, and you always have to think out of your back of your mind, just like in the middle of the bear, what's the next bull going to look like? But even now, you have to be thinking, have I got enough of a nut to cover myself if all hell breaks loose, and you have to sit there and turtle for a year? Those are good thoughts to have at any given point in time. But that's the financial planner in me talking, so I'm sorry. I should probably stop all that. I'm depressing everybody. Party! Woo, man! Okay. All right. It's after 8. I've been blabbing away for a couple hours. Did you guys get any value out of that tonight?
No, it's great as always. I appreciate it.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah.
We want to do our big forecast? Are we going
Sure,
up,
let's
down,
do
or
it.
sideways? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I'm thinking down.
Down. All right. Are you thinking train wreck down, mild down, or sideways?
It'll just be lower than it is today. This is like we're doing it weekly, right? So yeah, I would say this is my first time going -1. I'll go -1.
All right. Well, you got
In a
some
while.
negative ones before.
Well, in a while, right? I've always been just
Okay.
neutral. But
All
I think
right.
a little lower.
Yeah, you were neutral for quite a while. Yep, I'll give you that. All right. I am going to be. What am I? Well, no. You know what? Since I'm so awesome, I'll go last. Ben's already voted, so we might as well tell us your reasoning here, Ben. What do you think? What are you thinking?
I don't know. Maybe it's I don't want it to go down.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people think it's going to keep going down. So I don't know. I feel like maybe the worst case scenario for a lot of people is it just goes a little bit sideways for the next week.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. It'd be interesting to sort of see what is the difference between Derek's slightly negative down to Ben's slightly neutral. These are probably pretty close, eh? I guess that's what I'm thinking from you guys. I don't know. Maybe I could be mistaken. So, Derek, you're thinking slightly lower. Ben sort of thinking sideways.
Yep, slightly lower. Not necessarily like a complete breakdown or anything like that. But
All right. Nick is MIA. And Brian, what the hell's Brian going to say? Next Wednesday. Maybe let's look at the weekly chart. Boom. Wow, what a mess. All right. So 1 week from today, what does the candle look like? And we're right here right now, eh? Right around 60. I actually kind of like this level. I like the idea of the market just oscillating right around here. So, I think I'm going to go neutral. I like the idea of us just being right around this level. We'll see how it goes. So, I will put a big 0. So, 2 neutrals, 1 negative, and 1 MIA. So, hopefully, for Nick's sake, things go well on the move. Fingers crossed for you, buddy. Hopefully, we'll see you here next week. And Nick's got a question. Where did he get the big book? And we'll maybe post that on the YouTube page there, that answer for you. Any closing thoughts, gentlemen?
No, I don't have anything. It's been a good time as always, and I always appreciate the rants.
Okay.
Part of why I tune in and join.
Don't get me triggered about the Canadian banks. Eh? Fuck, and it's so frustrating, eh? It's just, and then, keep in mind, I used to be an options trader for that CIBC, so that's half of the reason why I have my account at that bank, is that they give me all free banking and stuff because I used to be an old trader for them. I still have sort of the employee designation on my account, so I kind of cheat a little. But that's the only reason why I still have that account there, and they give me a really big overdraft, which I never use, thank heavens. But I've worked in and around the banks, and when I started in the industry, there were a ton of rules to specifically keep the banks out of the brokerage industry. And basically, my life is literally a testament to watching those lobby groups just systematically take one rule after the next rule after the next rule apart, to the point where they created that horrible crisis down in the United States that really, you could argue, that's the whole foundation to everything about our society that's going on about it right now. If they had never done that inflation to the banking system the way that they did, we wouldn't be living. There, actually, ironically enough, there would be no justification for a Bitcoin. I mean, that's the irony of it all. So, if anything, all you crypto kids, you're like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please go and fuck the system up more. Please, please, do it, do it. And we'll have $1 million Bitcoin! All right. Okay, guys, I'm done ranting. Look at that. So, they even mentioned triggering me, and it sent me off on a 5-minute tangent there, eh? Oh, Jesus, I'm terrible. All right. Have yourselves a great night, everybody. Thank you so much, Ben. Thank you, Nick. For your continued participation wherever you are in the world. God bless. Best wishes. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Derek. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, Joey Diamond, for being the dickhead that you are. Thank you, everybody, for just making this world an awesome place. All the best! And Ben, you want to take us out of here this time? I think it's your turn. The only thing left we got to say is...
Bye for now.